Hello YouTube, Colby coming to you from Muffler Tech in Sacramento and also PriusCats.com. Today's video I want to talk about more Prius theft, more catalytic converter theft on Priuses. You can see behind me here all these Priuses lined up waiting to get their catalytic converters replaced. This epidemic has not slowed down. Since I started doing videos back in December, we are continually seeing about 3 to 4 of these cars come in a day with stolen cats. And I want to talk to you about replacement parts and what's out there and what people are doing to take advantage of the victims of this crime. So what I mean by being careful about who repairs your Prius when you have a stolen cat is the amount of shops and actually unlicensed individuals that are taking advantage of people that again have become a victim of this is growing, it seems, daily. So I pay a lot of attention to this market. Obviously Priuses have become one of our major areas of service that we offer here at Muffler Tech. And because of it, I like to kind of have my finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. I'll give you a quick example without going into too much detail, but we have actually earned a lot of customers that are outside of our area. I mean, Sacramento is close to the Bay Area, but we have earned lots of Bay Area customers because of our services and what we offer. We had a customer that called in the other day that 2 weeks ago took his car to a dealership in the Bay Area. I'm not going to mention which one, but it was a Toyota dealership. And over 2 weeks now, the car has been there, and the Toyota dealership has not been able to repair it because the parts are on national back order. Now, a Prius catalytic converter you would imagine would be readily available to an actual Toyota store. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Lots of franchise Toyota stores are not able to get these parts, and so that should be a number one consideration of where the car goes for repair is whether or not it's a Toyota dealership or an independent repair facility like us. Do they have access to the parts? Now, Muffler Tech as a facility, we are doing so many of these that we are ordering them in stock here at about 20 at a time. So it's very rare for us to actually run out of the parts. It happens. I'm not going to tell you we've never been in a spot where we've just had an influx of even more cars than we do on a daily amount now, where we actually run out of parts. But we're pretty good about staying ahead of that. And from our Toyota wholesale division that we buy parts from, they know the amount in which we're buying. So I believe we are a priority when it comes to parts delivery, and this actually counts for other franchise Toyota stores as well. They're not buying as many parts as we are, so we have the ability to get those parts and actually have them here at the shop, so they're available for customers that need their vehicles repaired. Speaking to this gentleman's vehicle that's been in a Toyota dealership for 2 weeks, this particular store got a check from his insurance company, has already cashed it, and is essentially holding the vehicle hostage until they're able to have this part available. Not great business practices, and I urge you, before you have somebody do this again, whether or not it's a Toyota store or an independent, do your diligence, do your research. Check their online reviews. This is a big deal. This particular dealership has multiple one-star reviews that specifically cite things like what they're doing to this gentleman. If it's an independent, you should do the same. Even if it's an independent or a Toyota store that has great reviews, ask them, do they have the part in stock? And if not, what's the expectation around timing as far as getting the vehicle repaired? These are all really important things if you're interested in getting your vehicle back in a timely manner. Now, I want to move on to the next topic, and that is the people or the individuals that are either shops and or unlicensed individuals that are taking advantage of people needing these parts. Okay, what you see on my screen here is Facebook Marketplace. Now, this is something I use actually quite frequently to buy all kinds of stuff. I find it a little bit more useful and more friendly than Craigslist. And forgive my low techness here, but what I want to show you is so like this one right here. So this is a for $350, 2004 to 2009 Prius new in caps catalytic converter. It's listed for sale here in Sacramento, California. let's go and open this up. Let's see what we got here. So interesting. This is the first time I'm seeing it here, but there's a picture of clamps, picture of an O2 sensor. There's your catalytic converter assembly, and then we're back to the clamps. Over here on the description, it's details, condition, new, 2004 to 2009, Toyota Prius, new catalytic converter hardware, donut seal, bolt springs, and mounting clamp included. The oxygen sensor is optional. If you don't want it, I'll lower the price for you. Please, only serious buyers contact me. Now, I'm not going to talk about who's listing it. Not looking to necessarily throw anybody under the bus by this video. I just want to educate people on what's out there. Let's go directly below that. This one's listed here for West Sacramento, and you can see kind of a similar thing. Back over to the details here. 2004 to 2009 Toyota Prius catalytic converters, aftermarket, no oxygen sensor. This person only has one, according to him. $250. Okay. You know, if these people are real and they actually have these parts, that would seem somewhat attractive. As we move on, here's another one that's in Concord, kind of the same story. $300, brand new, 2004, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, Toyota Prius catalytic converter, bolt-on aftermarket cat for Toyota Prius 1.5 liter, price is firm. You'll notice that none of these sellers are talking about the legality of these parts. All they're doing is showing you these parts for sale, and especially if you're taking your vehicle somewhere that says they can't get the parts, these would seem relatively attractive. Here's another one. Here's one at $550. This one's in Oakland, 2004 to 09 Toyota Prius converter, which O2 sensor. I'm sure they mean with O2 sensor in install. So this guy's actually installing it. If interested, please contact me. So I don't know if this person's a shop or what's going on, but you know, all of these parts I've showed you physically look like they'll actually bolt on the car. So it's not about these parts not fitting the car, or not working, or not turning off a check engine light, or simply not fixing the car, quieting it down from what you're experiencing with your stolen part now. What it's about is California legality. And as I mentioned, none of these sellers talk about that in their description. I personally believe these people know they're not legal. If you're a regular individual or a licensed shop like us, we can't even get manufacturers to send us these parts because they're not legal under the California Resource Board guidelines. And if you were to buy one of these parts, as tempting as they are because the pricing is so aggressive, and put one on your car, I absolutely 100% guarantee you when you go to smog your vehicle, it is not going to pass the smog check because of the visual inspection. The visual inspection includes the smog technician having to physically look at the catalytic converter itself, and once they see that it's aftermarket and or get numbers off that part that show that it's not a factory part, it is not going to pass smog. Now, I have showed other videos of why, if you have a Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, or any year Prius, why it has to be a factory part to replace it. I'm going to touch on that really quickly in this video as well. All right, so what I have on my screen here is the Aftermarket Catalytic Converter database. If you look closely here, if you want to see that address, it is there. You can do your own research and check that out, just to kind of make sure I'm telling you the truth here. But again, this is going to be specific to the California market. It's also up and coming, and I believe actually in operational status in New York now. New York as a state is starting to adopt our rules around converter replacement and smog stuff. So if you're a resident of New York, this is going to apply to you as well. But if we're looking at putting a catalytic converter, let's say an aftermarket part, on any car, this is where anybody should start, because this is basically the Bible. This is what tells us what parts are going to be legal as a replacement to make it through an emissions test in California, and as mentioned, I believe in New York as well. So we go here. This is a criteria list, of course. We go to make, and we jump down here to we'll find Toyota. Here's Toyota. Then we go to model year. It doesn't matter. All Gen 2s are the same parts, same deal, but let's say 07. Then we go to model. Okay, we have 4Runner, Avalon, Camry, Corolla, FJ Cruiser, Highlander, Land Cruiser, Matrix, RAV4, Sequoia, Sienna, Solera, Tacoma, Tundra, and Yaris. As you can see, I can't move on to the next engine size part of the criteria because there is no Prius listed on this particular portion of the criteria in this drop-down menu. If the car's not on there, I promise you, there is not an aftermarket part that's legal for California. Again, let's take a real quick look. That's California Resource Board. This is the state site. This is what tells everybody what's legal for that car, and this is also what smog technicians use to reference parts, speaking to legality of aftermarket parts. So I'm walking in the back of our inventory room here, and I just wanted to show you guys what our commitment is to carrying the parts that are legal, and show you just quickly kind of what discerns the difference. Of course, you can see the stickers here from Toyota, and from my other videos you guys have seen what these assemblies look like. But here's where we are here. If you look really closely here, you can see there's the Toyota stamp with GD3, and then moving down to the secondary cat here, here's the other stamp with the Toyota EA6. And then, you know, we keep looking at it here. So there's a resonator, Toyota sticker. Here's another Toyota part number here. That particular part's made by Tsuba. But the punchline is, again, these are factory pieces. These are not aftermarket, and these are what's legal in California as a replacement. So the last thing I want to make a point on is some people think it's a good idea to try to find these parts used at like a wrecking yard or something. And I can't fault anybody for that. If it's a used factory part from a wrecking yard and it's in decent shape, you know, whatever works. We're not trying to paint somebody in a corner to make them buy parts from us or anybody else. But understand that, and there's really no enforcement around it, to be fair, but understand that the state has another law in place that says you cannot buy smog parts used in California. So it is technically not legal for a wrecking yard to sell you a part, but that's not the concern that I want to pass on to you. The main concern that I want to pass along to anybody that's considering buying one from a wrecking yard is most wrecking yards only have a 30-day warranty, and most wrecking yards will sell you a part at half of a new replacement part. So with a original Toyota catalytic converter assembly going for about $2,200, you're going to spend in the $1,100 to $1,200 range, assuming that's the metrics they're using for pricing. And I have actually personally contacted wrecking yards just for reference, and most of them have a waiting list for these parts, and they're selling them for $1,400 to $1,600. Again, 30-day warranty on these things. So my advice, don't do that. Used parts, again, shorter warranty. What happens if you spend that $1,500 plus minus dollars, and 2 months later your check engine light comes on because the cat's bad? Well, now you've thrown $1,500 in the toilet. Look I get it. This is a very frustrating thing to be a part of. And I'm very compassionate to anybody that's had a part stolen on their car and doesn't want to spend the money. Everybody's going to be looking for ways to do this for less money, is what I'm saying. And educate yourself. Understand that there really isn't a way to dodge the big bullet on the pricing on this, at least not in a way that's going to be longevity-wise a good idea for anybody. So that being said, this is the end of my video on this topic. Please see us at gotduals.com is our website for the shop. PriusCats.com is our webpage specific to this sort of problem. And if you like my video, please like, subscribe. I will continue to put up content around stolen catalytic converters and any help I can offer the community out there. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.